Welcome back, everyone. Leanne is on location at the Rainbow Natural Food Store on Richmond Road. Leela, you going to give me advice on staying healthy?
Well, actually, Mike, we're even going to ask you about constipation. Now, when was the last time I asked you about your bowels? Not just your bowels, my dear friend, but everyone, because...
Yeah, let's keep it generic here. Let's keep it generic.
Dr. Joël is a naturopathic doctor, and she actually has a great sort of quiz that everyone at home should do to monitor their own health. And one of the first questions that you have is, what is your body telling you? And the first one does start with your fingernails.
Exactly.
So looking at your fingernails, what should people know based on looking at their own hands?
Well, okay, so first of all, if you just put your fingernails in front of you, ideally what you want to do is, let's start first of all with putting your thumbs together, your thumbnails together, and ideally you should see a nice round curvature. If your fingernails are flat or actually spoon in, that it looks like a shape of a spoon, it could mean that you're iron deficient, or it could mean that you're deficient in B12.
So there's normally some sort of a deficiency indicated by especially thumbnails.
Exactly. Actually, all your fingernails, but that's just one of the tests that's easy to see it.
And all of the advice we're giving today, you of course want everyone to consult their own practitioner.
Exactly.
And you know, if you have a medical condition, bear that in mind.
Yes.
Because this is, as you said, pretty generic. But here's we're going to hit number 9 on the hit parade, and it is constipation.
It is,
and
yes.
you asked the question about the frequency of bowel movements, because typically everyone who's healthy should.
Well, you should actually have a bowel movement after every meal that you eat. So ideally, people should have an elimination 3 times a day. A lot of people come in and they say, oh yeah, my digestion's great. And then I ask them, well, how often do you go to the bathroom? And they'll say, oh, once every 4 days, I'm great.
Well, but everyone is different and every body is different. And I would think that we don't want people to go into panic about the fact that very few people, unless you're, you know, eating the perfect diet and practicing yoga and have no stress in your life, wouldn't.
So more than often, we do encourage people to have an elimination daily. But if you're not, you may want to talk to your doctor about getting your thyroid checked. Because one of the common symptoms of hypothyroidism is your thyroid controls your rate of metabolism and everything slows down, including your digestive system.
Interesting. So that is something to look at. Pay attention if you're not going at least once a day.
Exactly.
Okay. If you're reaching for Tylenol at least once a week, this could be a sign of?
Yes. Well, very simplistically, it may just even be dehydration. We really do need to hydrate our bodies with at least half of our body weight in ounces every day. And most of us don't get nearly enough water.
So people will reach for Tylenol because they are having a headache, but a headache could actually be the symptom of dehydration.
Exactly.
As simple as that.
Exactly.
And then would the Tylenol not dehydrate you more?
Yes. Yes. Or coffee, because a person's feeling headachy and tired, so it just contributes.
So you turn to a coffee, and then the coffee dehydrates you more. It's a vicious cycle. We want you to stick your tongue out, not at us, please, but in front of the mirror, because your tongue tells a lot about your state of health.
It does, yes. In reflexology and Chinese medicine, your tongue is actually a map of the body. And the central portion of the tongue, if there is a change in general nature, for example, a white coating, it might indicate that you're having digestive, spleen weakness, potentially even a yeast infection.
Now, since we're in the mouth area, this is something I'd never heard before, because any woman who has experienced pregnancy will know that there are certain signs that you're pregnant, but this is one I hadn't heard of, inflamed gums.
Yes. So often your dentist might be the first person to actually give you the great news that you're actually pregnant. The changes in hormones, your hormones that elevate when you're pregnant, change the vascular dynamics in particular, especially with the mouth. So you may have inflamed gums.
We have more questions to ask you, and you may have some questions to ask us or to ask Dr. Joël Villeneuve, who's a naturopathic doctor. So we're opening up the phone lines. We have calls available, 613-750-1211 or 1-888-750-1211. We will get to your calls and questions after the commercial break.